Yeah, so the benefit of keto adaptation is that you can exercise with at too much lower blood glucose levels. So that's a huge advantage. And we haven't we have answered your question, and I can't answer it because it's not been published. So
okay,
so,
we'll wait for that.
However, yeah, but I've always considered that it's the ultra exercise, the Ironman, and so on, where you'll really get the benefits. Because when your glucose starts to fall, that's the one thing that if you're keto adapted, you won't notice it, and you'll continue to exercise vigorously. So that's the one difference. We are involved with another group in Australia, and they're looking at high fat diets and more prolonged exercise, including marathons and ultra marathons. And I think that's where the low carb diet will really be beneficial. So we've looked at very little exercise, small amounts of exercise, just 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you at 2 hours, what you eat before exercise makes no difference whatsoever. None at all.
Yeah.
And that's a breakthrough. But the other breakthrough is, when do you need your carbs? When do you need to take them? And you do need them.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together, you'll know what I'm saying, but I can't say it yet. Yeah. So my best rugby story about a rugby player is a chap called David Pocock, who captained the Australian rugby team. Mm-hmm. And was known for being such a very vigorous athlete. So he was born in Zimbabwe, as I was, and he said the one thing he wanted to do in life was play rugby for South Africa. For various reasons, his parents left Zimbabwe, and he settled in Australia. And he said he was so upset by the move that he couldn't eat properly, and he became a vegan. And then he still became Australian captain, eating a vegan diet. And then he read my book about low carb diets, and he converted. And he came to South Africa and he said, "Thank you, because this is what I did." And exactly what you said. He said, "I was a better player." The irony is that when he wrote to me was just after the 2011 Rugby World Cup, and South Africa got knocked out in the quarterfinals when we should have perhaps won. But anyway, we got knocked out, and it was all because of David Pocock.
Yeah.
and like yourself, he's got this huge upper body, and he was just so powerful.
That's funny. You probably would have hoped that he came across your book after the World Cup, so he didn't have that expected advantage.
we also converted half of the Australian cricket team as well during that period, because my friend Peter Brukner was the doctor. And Peter had converted to this diet because of what I'd written, and his own health had improved. And he was caught reading one of the great books on low-carb diets. And Shane Watson, brilliant cricketer, said, "Doc, what are you reading?" So he said, "No, he's talking about low-carb diets and so on." And Shane said, "I've always had a problem with weight. I'm always overweight at the start of the season, and I'd fast and I'd do all these things, but by the end of the season, it was finished." He then converted, and he became one of the great players in the Indian Professional League, one of the outstanding players, and he retired at 39.
Yeah, wow.
And he'd been on the diet for 7 years, and that prolonged his career for 7 years.
Yeah.
So many reasons why I'm proud that I converted, because I helped a lot of athletes.